Hello people, this is Kamisei. I will be showing you a Demon video that is pretty all-purpose. For specified damage, you might want another build that's more focused towards damage. This build does rely on credit shot, since it has elemental arrow as a primary basically. Cluster arrow is used for two reasons. It's a lot of damage for the shots it's doing. And at the same time, it costs a lot of hatred, which means you don't have to cast it that often. So it's a good skill to not interrupt your shot time with. Now, Vault Tumble, you basically want maximum survivability, and along with that comes maximum ability to move. Now, since Demon Hunter is pretty a pretty one-shottable class, the way I play relies on using Tumble to stay out of sticky situations, and when it gets really bad, smokescreen, but trying to avoid all AoE damage. So when that's no longer possible, when there's incoming damage, definitely when there's definitely incoming damage, you will be able to avoid one-shots. This allows me, for example, to run Torment 6 with 1 million toughness. This might be overkill already. Often it is, but it does still depend on the rest of the group. Now, Boar Companion is for those times when you don't have a tank on, or when your tank is gone. You could also use Wolf Companion for the 30% increased extra damage. Other than that, I would not bother with any of those minions. The same goes for Smokescreen, although you might want to use Choking Gas for some added damage, but then you would be playing in a different way than I would advise to be the best optimal play. Now, as your 4th skill, you basically have options. You could use Preparation for faster moving around, which decreases in how good it is on high difficulties, obviously, because you'll be spending more time in fights, more standing still, firing more shots, regenerating more hatred, and obviously more discipline that goes along with that, to be able to use more discipline skills and also more hatred spenders. So prep, and with punishment, you might be able to open up some build options if you would spec a bat to go along with it, but that requires some legendaries and a lot of hatred generation. Now, for the passes, you might want to take Perfectionist, you might want to take Numbing Traps to go along with Caltrops. Myself, I use Archery. I use Cold Weak since it stacks with Frost Arrow, which I failed to mention. I used Frost Arrow because it splits up into 10 additional arrows after your first target, and it's pretty common that every single hit crits for 1 million. So that means every basic primary attack you'll be doing 10 million damage, as long as there's enough mobs. Which is why you'll be wanting to play in areas with big selections of mobs. Now, I'll be demonstrating this build in the Cathedral 4. That's an overfarmed area right now because it's easy. It has a lot of skeletons and well, it's really dense and it's a really good experience. Now, about the way you play, you basically watch your character, then you watch your target, then you watch your character, then you watch your target. You keep doing that over and over. Now, you can use the caltrops to hide behind in a line like that. And you can also move around like that. And keep on shooting, keep on kiting, but you do lose some DPS uptime doing that. So generally it's better to just freeze the mobs. Oh, I forgot to mention the rune, what you use for that. It's immobilize rune because often, well, more often than you think, you do get mobs that have the fast affix, at least. And when that happens, you're screwed if you have a slowing type of caltrops, because there's already a lot of CC immunity building up because you're using Frost Arrow. On top of that, they're fast, so even if you spec a rune that slows them by 80%, it still won't amount to that much, and you will still end up kiting a lot. Whereas with caltrops, you actually freeze them up. There's still CC immunity building up, of course. So like this, it's really easy to kite and to keep mobs exactly where you're at them, where you want them, at the range where you are safe, and you just keep firing away. Now, what I would recommend is using force move and attack ground, and instead of having to specifically have your cursor on top of your target, you can move around, and as long as you are attacking something, as long as you don't re-attack like that, and you will keep chaining your current casting attack, you will keep firing in that direction until that target dies. So you can prepare by hitting a target when it's about to die, switching to your next target, and then when your first target dies, you'll automatically switch to attacking your second target, unless you obviously use a second skill that will immediately cause you to attack with that skill to your current target. I lack a bit of DPS for that personally. What I recommend for golems is in rapid fire, still obviously the best single target skill, which is also recommended if you can fit it in your build, doing Ubers. Now, it sucks that Blood Moon is the version of Gloom that's the one used now, and that's really bad. Obviously, 3,300 something life hit per hit. Oh, well, that's double. Isn't much. So this does cause some problems with flick damage, which is solved by watching the flick damage source around your character. And when that happens, it means your flick damage is going to be up, like second after, which means you either stop firing or you cast smoke screen and you stop firing second after. Unless you use spike traps, then of course there's a delay with the damage that goes along with it, so keep that in mind. Now, you use force move and you use attack command. You use attack command to hover over the target or in the general direction, as long as it's not like next to it by a long, by a big margin. And basically what you can do is you can really easily kite your opponents, because you just have to move a little like that, then you press towards your target again, and then you press to the back of your target again, so you just move this small space with your mouse. You just have to move from your target in a straight line, so if you move back in a straight line again, you will actually be shooting at your target if you don't hover over it, because yes, you did move, so you will be switching your target, so you will be target firing towards your cursor once more. Now, with that explained, there's actually no difficulties as a demon hunter, as long as you pay attention, don't fall for obvious damage like AoE explosions. Almost everything in this game is telegraphed. The only damage I can think of from top of my head is Thunderstorm, but that's really low. Every damage has a really good design philosophy behind it, it seems, that's been tested. And that philosophy is that if it's not unavoidable, the damage has to be low. Now, about every AoE can be avoided, and often it does leave you with having mobs out of screen like this, but even there, you just need to have it on the edge of your screen, because your firing range will be that far. It will be a total width of your screen more often times than not. Unless you have the total width of room, like this, and you actually want to fire further than the edge. Now, I do wish there's some elite so I can show you a practical application of what I said in Torment 6, and show you how you generally play without dying, which obviously is a big deal with Pools of Reflection. Now, normally you would cast spells to wreck every barrel, you loot every corpse, because there's a lot of drops coming from wreckable objects right now. A lot of legendary drops. Now, it's okay to tank a little bit of damage, obviously. You can oftentimes take one hit, as long as it's not a big AoE damage skill like Thunderstorm that hovers over you for more than a second, or Frozen Orb, Frozen Pulse I mean, is spawning on top of you. But all that stuff is easily avoidable by checking your character. So just watch the middle of your screen, then watch your target. Watch the middle of your screen, watch your target. Now, I can't stress this enough, but I won't stress it any more than that, because that's really key. That's really important. Now, as you can see here, there's plenty of applications for me personally to use Wolf instead of Boar. You don't really need the charge, and since Diablo doesn't have any aggro, it just has target to closest proximity range. So whatever is nearest to the creature you're attacking will be attacked, unless there is a charge mechanic involved, like the Boar has here, that distracts, or I should say forces your opponent to hit that target instead. Now, the AoE, the taunt is AoE, so that can be nice at some times. I am using it myself simply because I like being self-reliant, and I don't think it's a bad thing to always be able to get out of sticky situations, at least not needing someone else to fix it for you, because in reality people do die. Now, about Paragon skills, you probably want to spend the most points in your main skill, your DPS skill, because the way offensive classes, range classes like Demon Hunter work, Demon Hunters work, if you can just avoid damage and you will do the maximum amount of offensive damage. Well, that's redundant, offensive damage. Sorry, English is not my main language. Now, you want dexterity as Demon Hunter. Secondly, on your second tab, you want all resistance. Oh wait, that's the first tab, sorry. On second tab, it kind of depends on your ratio, your distribution between critical hit chance and critical hit damage. But since you can readily see it in the Paragon spot, in the info, in character info, and you can reset, and then you can hold shift and easily do a bunch of them together, a bunch of allocations together. It's pretty easy to see the changes, just like this. Now, the reason you would like attack speed over critical hit chance is because it would allow you for more hatred generation. But there's a trade-off. Attack speed does generally add less damage. Critical hit chance does generally add in the middle, and hit damage does add the most generally. But you want critical hit chance for discipline from Night Stalker. And well, myself, I have enough. But if you do need more discipline, then by all means get more critical hit chance. If you want more hatred, then by all means get more attack speed. Now, for the third tab, me personally, so far I am able to use resist all and life, so I took a bunch of life points as well. Now this is up to preference. If you're a bit more twitchy Demon Hunter that loves to kite a lot, then there might be more to say for life regeneration instead of these other three. But it does heavily depend on your playstyle. Now, as the fourth, if you have trouble clearing the content, you could spec life on hit. Now, personally, I have this amount of life per hit, 132. I have 1 million toughness, and it's plenty for Torment 6. You just need to play properly. Now it looks like I'll be able to show you Elite application on Torment 5. Some clan affairs. I happen to be leader of a clan. We're still looking for skilled players. If interested, we do intend to make it basically an awesome looking for group channel in due time. Goat half, okay. Now here we have orbit turret teams, or Funstorm I mean. So with Funstorm you just watch your character. Oh, there was no Thunderstorm. I'm just overwhelmed by the amount of graphical effects on the screen and a bit of lag combined. Okay. Now, sadly, this is a bit easy for me, so this doesn't show much except for elite fights. But I hope we'll get one soon. Now, the reason why Cathedral 4 is so awesome is because there's 7 of these, well, I see them as zones, connected by these hallways. Now the hallways kind of suck, but this Demon Hunter is pretty awesome since you can swiftly move past the hallways, get to the next zone, and you're back into a new group, and you're generating more discipline for the next hallway. It's basically guaranteed that 7 zones. It's not that I minutiously check them and add them up, but I think they always do when looking at it in retrospect. Sum up to a total of 7. Now when you play with a mage that bubbles, don't get distracted by the bubbles when they're casted. Just keep an eye on your health bar, then check your character again. Check your target. Obviously you want to fire in a straight line using Frost Arrow because it doesn't bend. You want to use your AoE spells when there's actually groups instead of single target. Sometimes positioning creates a single target instead of a group. This is an awesome position because you can just walk backwards. This position sucks when you have an AoE skill like Poison Enchanted, Frost Orb, Frost Pulse, Fire Enchanted, nah, it's not called Fire Enchanted, Arcane Enchanted, Jailer that goes along with any of those skills. Pretty ugly, pretty fast, so you want to avoid small, narrow spaces like those. Now we do have an elite here, that's good. Now we start off casting caltrops, then we go backwards a bit. Now we have a mortar affix, which means we have to watch the ground. Now if it does come near our character, we do have to move because there is a small AoE involved. With Poison Enchanted you just stay out of the straight lines. There is Avenger, so you do try to AoE them down and not leave a single mob behind. Obviously it can be very ugly if you single target them. My bad. Would be nice to have had an overlay on top of chat. However, I like the ability to create one with my montage skills. At the moment I have 0, so I apologize for the lacking quality of the video. And with many amount of ums, but unfortunately I don't have a script or the ability to cut it. So while this is only Torment 5, I didn't die. I don't think any of us did die. Now here again you have these exploding abominations, so you want to stay good range away from them, and when their explosion is about to hit, you do cause smoke screen if you're close enough or too close for comfort. The reason why I personally hate AoE, the bubble, is because it makes it harder to see effects like mortar where they land, and if you do stand inside of it, it does add a difficulty to avoid damage. And while it's easy to be overpowered as a demon hunter, if you play properly, it's also easy to die, because we still need a lot of toughness to not just get one-shotted. And you could gear for that, but you will. It will just take you some time to get there, and this is not the end-all, be-all guild, or be-all, end-all. I don't know what it's called, but you probably get what I mean. But this is an effective way to get you to better levels, which does provide you with bonus stats. Which, well, you could pretty easily say that everyone, you are a better player because your character is better, and if you do pay attention to if you do pay attention to what happens around you, and then Demon Hunter is a really nice class to play. Just, you need to play it properly. You need to anticipate damage, you need to be defensive, anticipating damage. And that's another way to play class than people are used to in my experience. Now, personally, I add... okay, so now we do add an area. There was 7 zones. We do add an area for the elites, simply for the elites. Some tougher elites there, some sort of jumpers, scavengers. That with fast affixes are a pain in the ass. Though Immobilize does mediate this issue somewhat. Now personally I use Force Move on my apostrophe key, which is on the left of my number 1 key, which is in range of my fingers all the time. And in practice I press apostrophe while pressing the spacebar, which I hold down when I'm target firing in an area instead of a mob. I will have to press apostrophe, I will take a step, and I will shoot again. And I can keep doing that, which makes it very effective to run lower level difficulties and be really fast with it. Now there's some poison enchanted here again. I do want to stay away from that. Now there's healing vapors used for the small mobs that I did have on me. You just stay away, try to let your tankier characters deal with it. Now in this situation I cast a lot of discipline for no good reason. That's generally a mistake, so instead what you do is you just try to stay away from damage. If a mob is on you, just try to move away. Since the way DIablo targeting works is always close target that they're attacking, so they will disengage and chase one of your teammates. so they'll have to deal with it. Now there's also one more elite. One of the nastier mob types in the zone. Though I do dislike the grotesque the most for the elite types. Though I do prefer the experience. Also, experience is generally tied to the amount of health that the mobs have. It's not exactly health, it's actually the mob type, but that does closely correlate. Most mobs with a lot of health are mobs that are said to have a bigger experience reward pool, which makes sense because they do have more experience. Now generally you do want to play at a tournament where you can clear whites in about 1 to 5 seconds and elites in about 30 seconds. Now that concludes the video, though I'll be adding some more elite fights on the way. So thanks for watching and enjoy the rest. Okay, now this does have frozen pulse, so we do watch your character for spawning orb on top of us, in which case we immediately use smoke screen or vault if we target safe location with our mouse, which at the moment I don't. You just need to watch line of sight, watch the fire on the ground, watch that we actually do use our hatred spender. We can use cultists quite a bit. And that's another Torment 5 mob without just getting damage. And that's the way it's done. I'm not meant to be cocky or anything, but that is just the way it's done. So yeah. Anyway, I do hope you all picked up a thing or two from this video. And I wish you farewell and I salute you. Goodbye.